Hey, listeners, are you getting inspired to dive deeper into your learning of EFFT? If so, head on over to Catherine's website to check out her list of upcoming trainings. Some trainings are focused on combining EFFT with young kids and EFFT play therapy. So head on over to her website and we hope to see you in the future. Check it out at KATHRYNDEBRUIN.com, CatherineDeBruin.com, and we hope to see you in the future.
Welcome to the Family Express podcast, where our destination is resilient and connected families. Come aboard with your hosts, marriage and family therapists Catherine DeBruin and Rhonda Evans, to explore the world of emotionally focused family therapy, a model developed by Sue Johnson and colleagues. Together with our guest speakers, our travels will map the EFFT landscape, highlighting lessons learned, shared fears, and the passion and curiosity that bonds our community.
Welcome back to the Family Express podcast. Welcome back, listeners. I know I say it a lot, but we have an amazing guest for us today. Joining us today for an amazing conversation of her journey into EFFT, the humanistic part of our humanistic EFFT therapy, and then growth in EFFT. We're going to try to cover a lot. We're very excited to have the amazing Katie Humilde from Edmonton, Canada, with us today. Katie, thank you so much for being here.
I am so grateful to be here. So grateful for the work you're doing on the podcast. So wonderful to have something family specific for emotionally focused therapy. And it's exciting stuff and exciting to be with you too.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
So, Katie, I really want to know, what was your journey into EFFT? Because I heard a rumor that you were someone who was never going to work with parents. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. And in fact, I still have days, I think, where I just kind of can I do this? Am I doing this? It's not what I would have predicted for many years of my life. Myself probably would have been surprised for you to say I'd end up here.
How did that happen?
Well, okay. So I would, you help me if I'm going too far back, if I ever go too far back. But I think for myself, I've always been a person who's really liked people for sure, probably all ages, but really liked kids. So just really felt like they're just cool. They show up as their own little people and they have a whole way of living in the world that I learn from every time. And they are often not seen for who they are, just out of being too short. No, not just too short, but the way our society, I think there's been shifts where we see them better now. But I just felt like they always have a lot to teach me, right? So from the time I started, I always kind of felt that way about kids, just enjoying their different ways of seeing things. And as I progressed, I liked all kids, and then especially kids that I'd say that fall outside the bell curves. So those are the kids that are not fitting down the middle path for whatever reason. And I just feel like they have such alternate ways of showing us that life is not okay.
Mm.
They don't do it in a way with a lot of extra talking. They just show you it's not working.
Yeah.
And then as you get closer to them, you learn a lot. So my process, career-wise, was nonprofits. I did a lot of nonprofits early on with different kid-focused kind of work. And then eventually I went into education, took special education as a major, and then secondary English kinds of work as my minor, so that I could learn more about difference, get more specific with kids. Right? I purposefully taught secondary to avoid parents. That's how clear I was about not wanting to do parents. So yes, very other for me to be here.
Wow. So deep into enjoying children, learning from them, all kinds of kiddos. And then unfortunately, kids come with parents.
With parents, I know, right? So the shift came for me a little bit when I think actually I probably always really wanted to do more therapy kind of work where we really get to know a person, right? And as a classroom teacher, that just wasn't happening. Like with secondary classroom kids, I was all about thinking we're going to get them to be able to tell their own stories and grow empathy through literature and all these things. And then with 30 kids 5 times a day, you realize, oh, those kids off the bell curve, I don't even get to hear their story. So that's when I shifted to come into the psychology profession and did a school in applied child psychology master's program, which was largely focused on assessment. So again, let me understand more about your world. Let me understand more about your really cool brain and all the different ways that you can be you and how exciting that is. As I worked through that process, and it was really very assessment heavy, the heart underneath for me was, let me help you understand yourself and let me help your people understand you, your teachers, all these people that matter for you. But that'd be a small amount of time. The focus is still the kid, right? What I realized through that is assessments, like 75% of your time is with stats and drawing that beautiful picture of what makes this brain work, which is fun. But 75% of your time with stats is not me. I like that 25% of the time with the person and the kid. So that's where I shifted to therapy. But even as I shifted to therapy, I then wanted to do all the kids stuff. So like working on play therapy kinds of things, working on how to do CBT with kids, working on all the evidence-based particular kids sorts of things. The biggest gift to my career, and then also to me personally, just from learning this model in that human way, Rhonda, like you started talking about here, and made a lot more room for human in myself too, was working with a group of people who knew EFFT in a clinic where all the kids that came in there had dual diagnoses. They had some kind of ADHD, autism, something you're born with. I love the bell curve, right? We're on the ends. We start on the ends. And then they had mental health as well. And thankfully for those professionals that I got to work with and in the ways I got to work with them, I got to see them equip parents to meet their kids and see how much faster things go when kids can connect to their parents. So often in those situations, parents had been struggling for years. First to get diagnosis, they've been struggling in school. So like the family was struggling.
Yeah.
And I would go towards the kid and that's not quite enough when you've got a lot of stuff going on that's going to be lifelong. It's going to change. And by then the family was already pretty hurt. It's hard to have a really struggling kiddo. It's hard on a marriage and hard on other siblings. And there was a dramatic shift then for me to realize, okay, I could see this child every weekly, and they can have a good time with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
gosh.
Yeah. They helped me see the system.
The system. And you came all the way around the back door, and you've got such a tremendous education and experience working, it sounds like, in schools and clinics, and so you found your way deeper into the kiddo's heart and mind, and then all the way into the family system, and now the work that you do is more primarily with families.
Yes, I will tell people who refer kids to me now that's likely where it will go. It's not like if someone refers a kid, I've seen kids now, I would say, where I've had one session with a kid about anxiety and then seen the parent and the kid got better. Right.
Yeah.
And I now, Rhonda, your smile there like kind of says it all, because that's how I feel too. And yet I feel like it's completely kind of changed how I go at it. So now when I see a struggling kid, I think to myself, there is a struggling family. Like we cannot love our kids and watch them suffer and not struggle. It's just human. Hey? And I will say to parents, I want you here because you're the solution.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the problem, right?
Yeah.
And also because your hurt deserves to be seen too, which is, so different from where I started, like just get the parents out of the room, right?
I know, Katie, I wanted to ask you about that. Like that shift from I love working with the kiddos to now like more being about resourcing the parents. That's a big shift to make. And would you say, because you love kids, so it's not about that, it's that you so badly want to see a changed world for the child. You want to be helpful so badly that you eventually started focusing on where the change matters more? Like, how did you make that shift?
You are 100% right. That's a perfect way to say that. In fact, I think I've heard you say something similar in a previous podcast where it's almost like, I can really enjoy being with this child. And actually, the child isn't even going to show me the behaviors because we can get along.
Yeah.
The triggers are coming up with mom and dad and with their sister or brother, and they're happening at, all these other hours of the day where they're not scheduled to be in my therapy room where I've perfectly aligned a situation for them. And it feels unfair a little bit to the kid that they like, that's how far the shift has come. A little story that I was thinking about as I was thinking about this podcast and some of these questions is when I first started at this clinic, I had a referral. There was no formal thing about it being family therapy at that clinic. It was definitely a medical model where there's an IP, right? So the identified patient I had, one of my first identified patients was a 15-year-old who was doing all the things, had alphabet soup in diagnosis terms, lots of things, and was not going to school, was anxious, had gone through all of things, right? And so I did what I normally did is I had a parent session that was just part of my structure to gather information about the child. That was the point of the parent session, right? And those from that mindset. And then I would have the kid session, and then I would kind of come back with like, okay, this is what I think we should do, right? So I had the parent session, kind of got some story in place, and then I met the kid, and the kid was like, I don't want to do therapy. I'm done doing therapy. She'd done therapy, like, maybe tried 3 or 4 other therapists, right? And they're doing cognitive behavioral therapy, doing some DBT, doing some this and that. And I don't want to do it. Well, evidence-based, we know you don't do good therapy without buy-in. And she's 15, almost 16. So in my framework from that day, I brought parents back in session and said, not time for therapy. We can't do therapy.
Yeah.
Because I don't have buy-in from the kid. And I thought I was being a strong therapist to be like, I am doing evidence-based thing here. And I'm letting these parents know that. And then my colleague, when I was reviewing to her what I'd done, she said, what did you do? Like, you didn't even try. And I was like, I'm being evidence-based here in this way. And then that was the start. Because she said that parent would have come. That parent would have come. And then I started to do like work alongside so I could see kind of how they were doing that. And what I learned about that family, they had such a hard time with my no for not seeing a kiddo.
Yeah.
Of course, those parents are desperate. They're hurting. They're worried about their daughter.
Yeah.
And here I am being all evidence-based about how, well, nothing left to help her till she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if I could facilitate the parents' reach for her, the kind of care that came into those parents when there was no option.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what she was longing for.
Wow.
That's what she needed.
Wow.
And I often think about that because then I started to do it and then I saw it for myself, right?
Okay.
I'd have kids come in self-harming, all the things and saying, and realizing when they can see from their parent, their parent goes to, I am struggling because I care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Underneath all those texts and those angry moments is I am so scared because I love you. And they go, I didn't know that. I thought I was the screw up. Mom and dad have a moment of feeling like they're having a hard time because I matter.
Right.
It shifts so much.
And it's bringing it, and what you're doing is starting to apply that attachment lens to the systems lens, right? That when that teenager was saying, I don't want to come to therapy anymore, you started to see that, oh, that's a protest. She's saying,
Absolutely.
it's not going to be the IP. I want to see if my parents are going to fight for me. And then when you work with a parent, help them reach to her,
Yes.
then it opens up.
Well, when I look back on it now, it is sad that first one, because I think that's exactly what she's trying to do. I want to be like kind of I want to make this hard on my parents so they'll get fight for me. Like, show up already. Show up already.
Yeah.
Doing all the things.
I like that.
I don't think they're conscious of saying that.
No.
I think the exciting thing about this work is that we know it's there. We know it's there.
Yeah.
So even in our very, very prickly parents, you can get prickly parents and prickly kids. And either way, we know there's this wiring in us to belong, to be seen. And I don't know, parents, I am so inspired now working with parents. This is part of the shift in me, like the drive, right? Like to not give up.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not giving up and doing something that's not helping, but it's still part of that. Like, I'm not giving up my kid, right? They're going to go back and try it again.
You're saying, I think you're saying, Katie, like getting to work with that attachment impulse, that innate attachment drive is in the parents. It's in every parent, and we just have to unleash it, right? But you're working with something that's natural, universal, that's in every parent. And yeah, it has a force.
And it's sort of by default here, when you've got someone that's bringing a child to therapy, that system is at least partly online. Like like they're saying, I need something from my child. And sometimes they're saying it away as like, actually fix them, right? And I think a big part of the work is going back to that parent going, you know what? You have the heartbeat for your child.
I believe in you. You can do it. I won't take it away from you. And
that's right.
Yeah.
You are the expert on your kid, right? You are. And this drive in you that is saying something is wrong is right. You're right. Something is wrong. Let's get curious together. Let's get you to get back to that place where you can trust your parent gut. Like, I feel like so much in our society right now tells parents they can't do it on their own. Like, go into any chapters or Indigo or whatever, and there's walls of parenting advice, and it disagrees with each other. Like, how are parents supposed to themselves? And I actually feel really passionately that we should not take mental health away from parents. Like, now we've so made this, it's good that we have more attention on mental health and that we recognize our whole society needs to grow a little bit about this. But to make it so that now my child needs a mental health expert for all of their feelings, just like they need a doctor for all of these physical things. I think, and I'm working with complex diagnoses here, right? So if we go back to the alphabet soup, it's not like I'm saying that there aren't real problems where multidisciplinary teams are even necessary, right? But I want parents to know you have a spot and nobody else has.
Yes.
Hey?
Listeners, check out our book for children of any age. It's called A Jumble of Thoughts and a Tangle of Feelings. It's on Amazon.com. If you know a child out there who is having a tough time but unable to put that distress into words, this book is your guide to helping them figure out what is going on. Whether you're an educator, a therapist, or a parent, we really think this will be a helpful guide for you.
So, Katie, I want to just spotlight this because it's so important what you're saying. You're making my frame like even bigger. You're expanding my view. Thank you. You're saying by the time a parent knocks on our door, that's already a good sign that the system is open and caring and trying. And we don't want to usurp the parent's role, by just going and fixing the kid or focusing on the kid, which we couldn't do anyway. But we really want to empower the parent to know their role in the system is so unique and important and natural, and right. And that's really
It's so common that there's so many negative messages already by that point, right? Because the kid is already, something is wrong with me, and my parents can't help me, right? Like sometimes I think the other thing I have learned about families, I feel a little bit hesitant whenever I say something out loud and then think it's going to be recorded. Sure, I'll disagree with parts of myself again, but every family I think about like their own universe, like constellations of relationships. Every person I kind of think about is their own universe. And then a family is all these universes collided, right? So they have their own stories, and we come alongside hoping that we help them know themselves better again, right? So they know their own strengths. I will say to parents when they start, I'm always going to trust you. You are signed up for life. You're the one that got here with this kid, and you're the one that's most worried, and you always will be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm going to trust. Just let me say that again. I'm going to trust you. These are your kids. You'll always be concerned about them. You'll have a gut sense of what's going on. And I want to listen to you.
Yeah. And at times, like back to that, so different, is I've had parents come in that are like, part of the block is they are so angry with that child, right? Or there is a parent in that system that's so angry because the angry is protecting them for how out of control they feel with that kid. Like there's lots of different ways, I think. Again, back to the beauty of emotion-focused family therapy is we know it's underneath.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know it's underneath. So, and there'll be a lot of shame then about having bad thoughts about my kid, negative thoughts about my kid, because I'm feeling so helpless.
Yeah.
I never could see a parent like that before.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
Yeah.
Because I just,
in the past, it was hard to see, understand the anger. Like you could just see the parent's anger, and it was hard to see that there was something driving that underneath the anger.
Or the criticism, or the like giving up. Like there's lots of different ways parents, I think, would really annoy me. Back to thinking about in those young years when I was like deciding to be an elementary school teacher or a high school teacher. Like I felt so helpless at the time, imagining that I would work with kids and think they're going back to something I can't help them with, right? But here we are now in a spot where potentially we can. Right?
Katie, I want to ask you a question about that, because you've mentioned you've clearly got so much experience, and sometimes these families or kiddos do need a multidisciplinary team. Yes. How do you balance your practice when you're skilled at assessment? You're maybe seeing kids who are born with pieces, and there's also mental health pieces. There's the family piece. How do you navigate a parent who comes in and says, I'm wondering if my kid is ADD, or
Right.
How do you go about that now in the way that you work?
Yeah, such a good question. Like which buys me a minute to think about it. Well, it's an ongoing process, I think, navigating all those parts. The way it helps me, I think, is I can really help the parent, like for psychoeducational assessments and that kind of thing, when kids have struggled for a while. And oftentimes parents are too overwhelmed when they get results from those things, because there's not a listening to the emotional response of the parent who is trying to learn about the future of their child, that they can't take that information in then, right? So there's some times where, because of the knowledge base, I can help more with processing, I think. But even as I say that, I wonder if sometimes it's the block is more about being afraid of not understanding my child, right? And I think any of us can help them with that, because they're always going to be the parent. Like again, I'm very conscious of how many ways we've removed parents, I think, from the work of connecting to their child as parent. And So I do battle with it a little bit, Catherine. I guess that's the point of that. I mean, there are times where I don't do formal diagnoses when I work with people as a family. I really try and stick in that really non-pathologizing lane. But I do support parents to advocate for their kids.
Yeah.
And because I know some of those systems well, I think, and also, like I say, I can read those reports. I can interpret a lot of things. So I can help them understand in those places. And I find that helpful.
So are you saying, Katie, like if a parent called in and said, I'm concerned that my kid's got ADD and I want to come and see you, you're still going to invite them into a family systems process. You'll give yourself time to slowly get to know kiddo's brain in the context of the family work. And then if you needed to make a referral for further testing, you would do that and then support the parents in knowing what to do with the results and fold that back into the family.
Yeah, pretty much. But a piece that came to me as you're talking is back from the assessment days, even for myself, and then back to that clinic I worked in. And just working with different psychiatrists who give feedback on some of these parts too. So you get a diagnosis. So what?
How does that help?
What are you going to do about it? So I often have that conversation with people who have kids who maybe are quite higher functioning on an autism scale. So it's not likely, like they're going to be able to work. They're going to be able to go to school. It's not like they are maybe going to need, they're going to be able to be independent in their lives, right?
Yeah.
And yet there's a lot of hard ways that come with growing and living when we fall on those places on the bell curve. So what is happening for the family in terms of when kiddo is struggling? Because if they're, again, those parents, imagine we can help them attune to their child.
Yeah.
Right? In a non-freaked out kind of way. They can learn together what helps that kid. Because that kid is its own universe. So I have this diagnosis that can be pasted to how many thousands of people, and nobody wears it quite like that kid. And who better to know that kid than an attuned parent? So again, it's like, okay, I really see the benefit of diagnoses when they help people because they need more systems, right? So when you need the diagnosis because I would like you to be able to qualify for this program, or I think you are going to need more supports and you can qualify for more supports because you have the diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the diagnosis itself. It is the attunement and the understanding of your child, okay? So an assessment is one path to start to understand your child. By no means is it the only one. And lots of times it can be a block because we're so scared of the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Your child's not a diagnosis, they're your kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's your kid.
Yeah.
And you are the mom, you are the dad, right? And so what do you need? Where's your oxygen mask, mom? Where is your oxygen mask, dad? Like, it's okay. You can get this when you have your feet, right? Is that making some sense?
Yeah,
You were just incredible. Can we just like pause and just see your heart and your journey as a clinician? You just like breathe. You breathe systems, you breathe attachment. You understand that diagnosis can help with access to services and programs, and yet you still follow your humanistic heart of like what really helps families is working. What really helps kids and what really helps families is working with kids and working with families, right? And so the diagnosis is just like an access point, but the bond,
the bonds,
like that's where it's at.
It's our teams. Like we all need this is what I think. I think at the end of the day, we all need a lot of people on our team. Like we're raising kids in this society right now. I was just reviewing some of Alison Gopnik's work where she said parenting as a verb was not even really till the 70s, right? We don't childing. We don't, like we don't have this. It is about relationship. And we all need a lot of them. Like when you think we were, as human beings, we lived in much larger groups before where we have auntie and grandma and we have all these people as part of this caregiving system. Hey, so how do we, and now we're going even farther saying, no, you need an expert in mental health to be on your family team as well. Yeah. Maybe you just need a nap, Mom, and then you need to come back because you lost your balance. And it happens, right? I feel like there's a danger of it sounding too simplistic because it's not. Like, again, back to working with really complex kids, and that's how I became an EFT therapist. That's how I got into couples work, is because kids are doing better when parents do better, right? And if you've got a child that's struggling, the best predictor of how well that kid's going to do is how much support that grown-up has. So if the grown-ups are struggling with each other, like, good luck. Nobody's breathing around here, right?
Yeah.
And it's, again, Rhonda, I like the way you said that. It's just human, right? If we just get back to just being a little more human. And nobody does human alone. Nobody.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. It's unnatural. And I really, really feel strongly with kids. I guess that's the edge I'm at too, is I don't like the idea that it falls on them, right? This kid has a problem that needs to be fixed. Now we're all the more individualizing again, right? So go fix yourself. Go have experts to fix yourself. And parents too. I need to fix myself. And it's like, well, we need each other. We really need each other. Okay? And we lose our balance. We get stuck in negative patterns. And in the end, we are all longing for that connection to work. And you, parents, more than anybody else for this kid. Right?
Yeah.
So
you have a beautiful message for the world and for families and for parenting, and your heart is like, you've got so much experience and you can speak to this so beautifully. It's really inspirational. You really have taken my lens and expanded it today. Like, even, just thinking beyond this into different systems of even like how is diagnosing helpful, and then where is it harmful? And it even could be this thought, like, maybe diagnosing is actually not even for the child, it's for the world, so that the world can expand their thinking about, hey, humanity is more than we thought it was. You don't have to look a cookie cutter kind of way. People have lots of different ways of being and different brain types, and we need to make a space for them and understand them, and it's expanding my scope, like my view of humanity and how human beings show up in different ways.
I totally
And as you say that, I totally feel a relief inside me, Catherine. Because isn't it a relief to think we're not trying to get into a cookie cutter somewhere, even for ourselves, right? Even for ourselves. What? This is just about humans? I already have that part. Like, I'm human. So, wow, we all have a lot of freedom to move around when we think about it that way, right?
Yeah.
I'm just struck because, Katie, you began your introduction in our podcast today with the phrase of outside the bell curve, and I immediately wrote that down. And you just have a heart for understanding when someone is, quote, outside the bell curve, they are human. They're still on the bell curve. They're on the bell curve of humanity. And you just have a beautiful way of meeting people on the bell curve. How am I saying this? Help me out, Catherine. Like, meeting people on the bell curve and loving them and advocating for them and helping other people see them accurately. And then, I love your phrase, Catherine, about diagnosis is for the world.
And when you just said that there, it gave me another thought too, Rhonda, about the bell curve. I'm like, who's drawing the lines? Like, really? Come on.
Yes.
So I maybe it's the misbehavior I like the best, because it's actually what's telling you something's not fitting, folks.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, what are we missing then about what it is to be human?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new thought for me, Rhonda. Like, yeah, because it's not just like a spot with statistics. It's like somehow the ones that get left behind, or they cause bothering, or they make us think twice. They make us think twice about the cookie cutter, whatever the cookie cutter is, eh?
And they expand our view and they expand our hearts, and we have to learn to love better.
Yeah.
And it's a tool for growth, right? But who made the bell curve? Rewrite the bell curve. Redraw the bell curve.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to, like I say, I will listen to parts and then disagree with myself. I'll fight with myself about it later. But you're getting the gist. The gist there, I think, is what I feel like is such a relief. Yeah. And that humans heal themselves. We're designed to do that too, right? That's amazing.
Even more.
Amazing to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Katie, this is very inspirational. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. You've given me and Rhonda, I think, a lot to think about.
It's exciting to be with people excited about it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Katie. There was a part of the conversation which we were thinking maybe we might get to, which was E40 and imposter syndrome. And I know a lot of people who would love to hear a conversation about that. Be very helpful.
Glad to do that.
Love to have you come back and really just focus on that. You know, a lot of clinicians who are fearful about doing family work and like, I've never done it before, so who am I to do this? And I think I'll start somewhere. And I think you're a really beautiful person to start that conversation if you would come back.
Oh, I'd love to. And I can certainly speak to being in that crowd. In an ongoing way. Human every day. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks for today.
You were just a light on this conversation, and thank you so much. And of course, very organized, all your 6 points, and we got through 2 of the 6. And so I'm looking, you just have a lot to say and to share. And again, thanks so much for your time and your heart sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for today, folks. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again for our next journey.